Hello, good morning, everybody. My dear students, this is the second class of the MCO 4 and block number 2. And in this block number 2, there is a huge topics are there, a huge amount of topic. And how I have to coverage within a 1 hour, it is also a difficult on my part. But however, I have completed within the particular stipulated time period as IGNU has mentioned within a 1 hour you may complete it. And now I am presenting my PPTs also, and you see the particular topic how I have to coverage regarding different laws, different regulations, and different type of legal environment is there. My dear student, MCO sorry, this is the MCO 4 block number 2, and the topic is legal environment, and the subject is business environment. Myself, Dr. Durga Madhav Mahapatra, lecturer in commerce, Fakirmohan Autonomous College, Baleswar, and counselor of Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. In front of you, through virtual mode, I am presenting my particular topic regarding the MCO 4 and block number 2. The topic is legal environment. My dear student, connect ହେଲା ତମେ ଝିଅଟାକୁ ଠିକ ରଖ। Okay. Actually, there is some network problem is there, so it's okay. Now I am okay. My dear students, in the particular unit 4 and block number 2, there are four topics are there. Unit 5 is the regulatory policies and framework, and unit 6 is the corporate law first and corporate law 2, and unit 8 is the labor legislations. My dear students, if you see in my PPT, the question is the topic related to legal environment. Environment means, in previous class I have discussed, there are different factors which can affect the environment of a particular business. But if you talk about legal environment, some judicial assessment of the particular business. It means if you talk about the regulatory bodies are there, like as RBI is there, IRDA is there, SEBI is there, and some other RERA is also there, means different sectors has been enacted or can be regulated by the some of the regulatory bodies, and you may call it as it's have a code of conduct to define the business, or it has a good way of doing the business in a particular situation, that's called as a legal environment. Or you may, the simple word you may call it is a business, or it is a code of conduct that defines the boundaries of business within the legal jurisdiction. If I'm talking about jurisdiction, there is some principles, some regulations are also there. But the question is, what is the objectives of the particular law? To maintain peace, or to deliver the justice only, or the quality, or uniformity, or only the we have to protect the rights. Means we are abiding by the some of the rules and regulations. And the main objective is also to maintain law and order situation, maintain social control, maintain resolve disputes also. These are the basic objective of a law. But if you talk about legal environment or it means some of the jurisdictions are to be coverage under the different types of sectoral business or different type of way of doing the business. That is the main objective of a or concept of a legal environment. My dear students, if you talk about there are different categories of laws are there, or you go through the law, there is a general two types of laws are there: substantive law and procedural law. If you talk about substantive law, it is some of the regulate some legal rights and duties which are enforced by the some of the party or other party. For example, the business contracts. Business contracts is a substantive law. It means if the contract is violated, what happens? And how it will be imposed on a particular party. But if you talk about procedural law, it has an just name says it has an enforced to established by the substantive law. It means in addition to the substantive law, the procedural laws are followed. Procedure means W's. W's what W's? What the particular court are to be attended and which courts it should be attended, what papers it should be filed, how it will be filed, and what witness are to be required. But for this reason, that some procedural documents, some procedural information are to be required for the particular substantive law. It means whatever it may be, the law is defined in two parts. One is substantive law, another one is procedural law. And second one is the civil laws and criminal laws. Everybody know about the civil laws, criminal laws, or some students may become as a law graduate. They know about the civil laws. It means civil laws is dealt with the only the duties of the individuals or legal entities of the corporation or body. If it is violated, it means the contract of breach or the product liability or copyright infringement. These are the only these laws are to be protect the public at large. It means civil laws is a one type of legal entities which can protect the not only the human rights but also it deals with the corporations and companies. Another one is criminal laws. Suppose any type of bribery, any type of embellishment, any type of crime, or any type of fraud, any type of theft, any type of forgery, and individuals are in position to commit such type of crime, and the law is there, and these are covered under the criminal laws. Means bribe, fraud, insider trading. Insider trading is applicable to the share market. It means some of the information is leaking or some of the company's information is leaking by the employees, and due to this some share market position will be ups and down is arises within a short period. That's called as a insider trading, and it is also a violation of a law. And insider trading, the best example you see in a particular OTT platform, there is a one film is there that is called as a scam 1992. Another one is Big Bull. If you look at this particular film, you better to understand the what insider trading is. It means embellishment, cybercrime, and public corruption. Means public money corruption or identity of theft is covered under the criminal violations, and the person is committed such type of crime. Some law is there that is called as a criminal law. But the question is, what are the sources of law? Some different sources of laws are there. One is custom, which is which is not written in the best practice. It has an according to the society norm, these laws are to be instilled or it can prevail in the particular society. It means supposed to be Hindu Marriage Act, it always prevails in the society. And it means another one is sometimes custom laws is divided into two classes also. Customs without sanction, customs with sanctions. It means some legal custom is there, some conventional custom is also there. Some agreement with the landlord and tenant about the payment of the rent, that is called as a conventional custom about the rent agreement. This is called as a conventional custom, and this is a one type of tradition which are to be arises within a period also. Another one is judicial precedent also there. Judicial precedent means high court is there, supreme court is there, and judges are obliged to follow some legacy of British India legal system they are followed. This is called as judicial precedents. Yeah, and legislations are also there in the parliament. Lok Sabha is there, Rajya Sabha is there. Some laws are to be enacted, and it can be recognized by the state. And some impositions of law by the particular central government or state government. That's called as a supreme legislation. Is the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and you may call it as a controlled by it's called as a Constitution of India. And subordinate legislation, it also include the subordinate authority of the supreme legislations. Subordinate authority means who are the subordinate authority? It means if the new Companies Act is established in the year of 2013, and from 2013 to 2021, a several times it is amended, and that type of amendment is arises by the supreme legislation with the subordinate authorities, that is called as subordinate legislation. My dear students, if you talk about some other way in subordinate legislation, it may be divided into like as autonomous laws is there, like as the universities, like as the incorporated companies. There are different companies are there: public company, private company, government company, and these are the enacted through under the purview of the Companies Act or any university act of the state government or central government. It is also a legally recognized by the autonomous body, that is autonomous law. And some judicial rules are there, high court's power is there, supreme court power is there under the Constitution of India. And that administrative position and local laws are also there, local panchayats are there, municipal corporations are there, and several times it is also amended, local laws and laws made by the executive. Sometimes some legislature, executive or judiciary, each specific function will be formed through the under the purview of the subordinate legislation. But these are the under the coverage of overall law, means law are to be prevails in the society, and we are abiding by the particular laws. And in this section, in the business environment, certain guidelines are to be formulated to smoothness the business. Why we study the legal environment? Only to know about the procedure, how the business will be not procured, how the business will be conducted smoothly. That is the only main objective of the legal environment. But Unit 5, that is some regulatory policies and framework are there. What are the policies? Government policies are there. Government policies regarding the different macroeconomic environment. And product market, service market, rural development, public sector reforms, means the government has formulated policies as not only as regards to the manufacturing, but also service, but also public sector reform, rural development. And in between, in the year of 1992, government is also a tremendous reform are to be make out by the particular Ministry of Finance, like as the concept is arises, that is called as LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. Another one is some institutional agencies are there. I have already discussed some institutional agency. Parliament is there, state assemblies is there, Lok Sabha is there, Rajya Sabha is there, Gram Panchayat is there, and local municipal bodies is there. These are the agencies through which the particular laws can be regulated. And laws means it can be a business activity in general. Some of the large number of laws are there to governing the industry, trade and commerce. My dear student, if you talk about a business, it is a combination of both trade and commerce. If you talk about in a sector, it is a combination of primary, secondary, and ancillary. If you talk about some in a way of sector, it may be covered under the manufacturing or service sector, and these are governed by the some specific areas of law, and we should more abide by the particular laws to smoothness of our business. But the question is, sometimes some deficiencies are arises in the in economy. It means why the law is necessary. Sometimes the problem is certainly sometimes we are neglecting the entrepreneurs, those who are wants to start their particular business, and some type of poverty and low income level, they are also not able to save their investment in the time in a different type of avenues also. And these are some of the socio-economic indicators through which the particular type of deficiencies are arises in the economy, and we should more protect our economical conditions should be high, so that every business houses do their business in a conducive environment and with a regulatory environment. For example, you see in the newspaper there is some controversies arises between the union government and the Twitter. What happens? It means the Twitter is working in India, and they are instructed by the American persons. It means the government of India is always imposed the Twitter as a appointed one person or executive body, and through the Indian regulation will be imposed on them, so that it is a controversy arises. And social media's laws are to be framed out within the OTT platform, over the top entertainment platform, like as how the particular smoothness of OTT platforms. And and my dear student, but in certain regulatory policies before in 80s, we are in present in 21st century, but before 80s, there is some of the comprehensive industrialization licensing system is there in 80s, and some of the reservation of certain industries there, ceiling expansion capacity is also there, and the licensing import is also a difficult task for the in 80s. But and government control regulation on FDI, foreign direct investment is also there. Price control and rationalization of specific product market is also there. And at that time period, they are not to be regulated in the priority sector credit or credit flow. If you look at in it is a difficult to sustain the business for a longer period of time. Why it arises? Due to the lacking of credit flows to the industries or small scale industries. Now the government of India will be change the definition of MSME. It means first of all SSI, small scale industries, then a SME, small and medium scale enterprises, now MSME, micro and small scale industries. That is the way through priority sector credit or credit flow is difficult at that time period. And physical measures, different taxes system, different exam system, and some regulatory sensitive position is there. But after 1991, a tremendous change is arises in the regulatory framework, that is called as a reform era. We may call it as a reform era, means post-reform and pre-reform. If you comparison with the pre-reform and post-reform, there is a certainly some reformist policy packages are to be formulated by the and the in the under the guidance of the Prime Minister Narasimha Rao, and at that time the finance minister is the our Punjabi is I do not remember the particular name.
Manmohan Singh, sir.
Yes, yes.
Actually, Manmohan Singh, sir.
Yes, yeah, okay. Manmohan Singh, sorry, Manmohan Singh. He at the particular in the year 1991, the new policy packages are to be formulated, and these are more focusing about the liberalizing the industrial licensing system and FDI investment and liberalization toward the foreign technology, or you may call it as a technology transfer, or openness of a public sector, or privatization of some of the public sector entities, and more constituent towards small industries also. Means these are the some issues which are can be undertaken in the particular of in 1991. Means open to the private sector. If you see and look at the any other television channels also, there are certainly private channels are there. If you look at the any gas companies, there are some of the automobile or any sector you look at, there are different, it is openness to the private sector investment. It means not only the telecommunication but also manufacturing equipment industry in power sector also. There is some licensing system will be liberalized. Means it hasn't removed the red tapeism system. Remove the red tapeism system means that type of concept is developed in the stabilization of structure and committed to stabilization structural adjustment also followed in certain periods. And certain periods we are look into the FIs also, foreign institutional investors, and different types of securities are to be traded, and the primary market and secondary market, capital market will be formed. And certainly some of the foreign capital market will be Indian companies were allowed to access the foreign capital market through GDR, Global Deposit Receipt, ADR, American Deposit Receipt, mean euro currencies. Mean these are the some of the reforms, legal reforms which can be undertaken in this period. Means after 1991, or you may so called as a that is post liberalization era, and under the particular prime ministry of the Narasimha Rao has a greater vision towards the particular smoothness of the legal environment. And it is also promoting the SSIs also, banking sector reforms also established to growth and openness of the insurance sector also. At that particular time, IRDA, Regulatory Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, was constituted in the year of 1999. I mean, these are the overall concept of post-liberation in the year after 1991. But if you talk about the architectural view of the legal environment, there are different basic laws are there. Law of contract, partnership, negotiable instrument, environmental protection law is there, water protection, water and air and environmental protection at 1986. Corporate law is there. Previously, you may call it as a companies are 1956. Nowadays, in that is can be Companies Act 2013, and Sikh Industrial Act is there, Industrial Development Regulation is there, Monopoly Trade Practices Act is there, Consumer Protection Act is also there in 1986. So these are the some of the regulatory issues which can be undertaken under the legal environment. And securities regulatory law like as a SEBI, say Security Exchange Board of India Act 1992, Securities Contract Regulation Act SICA, which is formulated in the year 1956, and after SICA, another act will be formulated that is called as a SEBI. And you may call it as a SICA is a extended name of SEBI. And nowadays, no SICA is nowhere, but it is written in history, and historical place is arises by the SICA also. And labor laws is there, Factories Act, Payment Wages Act, Payment Bonus Act, and Work Compensation Act. These are the some acts you can see in my slide. There are different acts are also there under the coverage through which the legal environment can be protected and through which it can be also established. My dear students, now the topic is Unit 6, and I have to start, that is corporate law first part of the corporate law. Under this topic, there are two topics are there. One is Companies Act Amended Act 2013, not 1956. But in your book, you see there are lots of related act of your companies are covered under in the act in the year of 1956 only. Another one is Sikh Industrial Companies Act, which is special provision SICA in the year 1985. But the question here is, if you talk about corporate legislation, the first legislation of the Corporate or Companies Act or Stock Companies in the year of 1850, and it is based on English Companies Act on 1844. It means it is a British Act. And after that, in 1857, the liability of the member or the companies are to be unlimited. There is a liability or one characteristics of a particular company is liability is unlimited. And in this section, the particular legislation is started in the year of 1850 and under the 1844 Act. But after 1950, HC Bhabha, under the chairmanship of HC Bhabha, the new revision of Companies Act will be formulated in 1952, and the particular bill will be placed in front of the Lok Sabha, that is Companies Act 1956. And reality, in this year 1956 is the golden year to formulate our the Companies Act, or you may call it as a Corporate Act. Or you may, what is the reason behind it? The act is related to capital structure, related to formation of a company, related to company meetings. Capital structure, if you talk about capital structure, authorized capital is there, issued capital is there, called up capital is there, paid up capital is there. If you talk about meetings, there are several meetings are there: annual general body meeting, extraordinary general body meeting, general meeting. And if you talk about formation, there is a different type of formational procedures are there, like as a memorandum association, articles of association, and so-called you may as producing a prospectus also, and what are its contents are there. These are coverage under these type of acts. And presentation of company accounts, audit power and duties of the auditor who looks into the books of account, and also investigation of the affairs of the company, and board of directors appointment. If it is a public company, that is a 3. If it is a private company, 2 board of directors will be appointed. What are the duties, power, responsibility of the board of directors, and administration of the company law, which are covered under the Companies Act 1956. But my dear student, in present time, if someone is asking about you, when the new Companies Act will be formulated and what are its components are there, I have to discuss one by one. But before that, the 1956 will be several times. It can be amended in 1960s, 70s, 1985, 1988, and in the year of economic reform year, like as in July 1991, several amendment has been made. In the several amendment, there are different types of. In 99, there are simple. In my PPT, there are several amendment is arises, like as a facilitated to buyback of the company's own share, like as a intellectual property concept is arises, like as a liberalization, rationalization of the central government investment also, like as a to benefit the investor also, like as the facilities to the shareholder, debenture holder also. And these are formulated in the year 99. If you talk about amended in a recent amendment in 2000, there is some changes of paid up capital requirement in the year 2000, and some type of to protection of small depositors also, and the sale prospectus or information memorandum, what type of information are to be life of 1 year, that can also undertaken, or memorandum association act, that is a red hearing prospectus, or that and book building process also can be designed under the in the year of 2000, and non-voting equity shares and resolution policies. There are several, and director responsibility statement, audit committee, compliance certificate. These are the some issues which are, my dear student, undertaken in between 1956 to and changes amendment of 1980s, 1990s, and 99 and 2000. But my dear students, in your book, only 2000 is the sufficient year for your corporate law 1 or regarding the Companies Act. But I am adding some new information in front of you. That is new Companies Act 2013. What it says, the new Companies Act 2013 always focused on similarities, incorporation, dissolution, and running the companies in India. It has an enforced in September 12, 2013, and some of the sections they are to be amended. In previously, their act is the 658 acts are there, but in a new act of Companies Act, it will be reduced to 470 acts are there. But what are these acts? Basic features. Basic features is first basic feature is the class of action of shareholders. There are more rights to the shareholders. There are more power to the shareholders, and they are more focusing the women empowerment of board of directors. Mean in a board of directors of a company, one director should be as a woman. It means we are empowering our the women in the corporate sector, and they are focusing corporate social responsibility. Means 20% of the profit will be 2% of the profit will be distributed or will be spent towards CSR, corporate social responsibility activities. And the new Companies Act also formulated the or smoothness of dissolution or liquidation procedure by the formulation of NCLT. What is NCLT? National Company Law Tribunal, and that the appellate authority is there. And before New Companies Act 2013, this there is a one body is there that is called as a Company Law Board or Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction, that can be replaced one. That can be replaced one. I am talking about the replacement of these two body, and new type of body is formulated, that is called as the NCLT. Another one is merger position will be simplified, cross-border merger position is simplified, protect the insider trading activities, increase the number of shareholders from in a private company is now from 50 to 200. Means in previously it is 2 to 50, and now it will be now 200, and 1% company will be formulated. 1% company means if DM Mahapatra wants to start a company, it is a better way to start a one type of corporate house. My dear students, this is the overall concept of a company law 2013 new concepts. What are the regulatory purviews are there, and what are the features are there, I am discussing in this regard already covered. And now I'm in front of you, I'm presenting unit 7, that is corporate law second part, corporate law part 2. Under this section, this is the outline of the unit 7 corporate law part 2. That is a competition act 2002, consumer protection act 1986, grahak jaha ko grahak, this is the consumer protection act is there. You see in the TV advertisement, there is a lots of grahak jago grahak, it's a one type of slogan of a particular consumer protection act. Essential Commodities Act 1956, monopolistic MRTP Act, monopolistic and restricted trade practices act, Industrial Development Regulation Act 1951. My dear students, one by one we have to coverage. First coverage is the Industrial Development Regulation Act of 1951. Under this act, what it focuses? It focuses only industrial development. It focuses on prioritize of the target. It has and promotes the small entrepreneurs, and it has an prevention of monopoly or concept of ownership of industry, and it has an focus the balance regional growth. These are the coverage under the particular act, but certainly some provisions are there. What are these provisions? Regarding the registration and licensing, regarding the scheduled industries or industrial, regarding the takeover of the management, regarding the price and concerned authorities also. These are covered under the Industrial Regulation Act. Another act is there, but some other topic, act is there, that is Monopolistic Trade Practices Act. It is very much important for your examination point of view also. Monopolistic Trade Practices Act, that is the particular committee will form in the year of 1964, that is called as the Mahapalinis Committee, and they have revealed their inquiry commission in the year of 1965. They are focusing about the monopolistic power, protect the monopolistic power and restrictive trade practices by the large business houses. It means only simple words I'm talking about, only simple word is not hoarding the goods, not hoarding the goods and services. Hoarding, HOADING. Hoarding means you have to you have to smoothness of your business in the due time period. It means to curb the tendency of the government of India has passed the particular act in the 1970s. But what is the objective behind it? The objective behind it, it's an control the monopolistic. It has an control the prohibit the monopolistic trade practices. It has an prohibit the restrictive trade practices or unfair trade practices. Unfair trade practices. What are these unfair trade practices? I'm discussing one by one. But some this act is some exception is there. It is not undertaken under the particular state, that is Jammu and Kashmir. This act is not purview under the Jammu and Kashmir or some trade union, some workers association, or some own regional protection. These are not to be covered. Some undertaking, government undertaking company, these are not under the purview of the under the particular act. Or if it will be regarding the currency and coinage division of Ministry of Finance, it is the act is not only not applicable on certain areas also. One is regarding trade union, another one is the particular state, it is exception like as Jammu and Kashmir, and third one is Ministry of Finance always issues the currency and coinage. For this reason, it has an exception on that. Another one is some it is has an exception of some of the government companies. But my dear student, the question here is what it protects. MRTP Act 1969, what it protects? It protects only the unreasonable high price. Suppose potato price is higher, means some of the supply minister or supply inspector has looked into this matter. It means unreasonable price high and unreasonable high cost of production, or high unreasonable demand of higher profit, or prevention or reduction of the competition, or you may call it as a limited capital investment if some profit is arises, or deterioration of quality of the goods. Means protect the quality of goods is also important. And some of the investigatory advisory policies are there, they can look into this, central government has look into this matter. But the question here is some on practices can be prohibited or protected by through this act, MRTP Act. What are the unfair method on practices act? Like as a suppose misleading advertisement. Through misleading advertisement, false representation, the goods are to be sold in a different way, like as a rebuilt or second hand goods, renovated or reconditioned old goods. This can be sold at a higher price. Or sometimes some quality grade composition, it can be also focused on this type under act. Or some type of false misleading representation of usefulness of the goods, means you are to means like as a you cannot say the customer are to be blind enough. They are right to be protected. And misleading representation of public, like as a warranty and guarantee, and misleading representation of the promise to materiality of the misleading not reasonable prospects. And these are the or packaging problem, that type of issues are undertaking of the unfair trade practices. But under the unfair trade process, sometimes bargain sale, sometimes switch of selling, sometimes flash bargaining. It means you look at the some of the e-companies, e-commerce companies, under the e-commerce companies. So in some certain time period, they are issuing the flash sale. What is flash sales means? From 24th August to 26th August, there is a reduce of the price in between the only 50% will be reduced. That can be protected through the MRTP Act or Monopolistic Trade Practices Act. My dear students, sometimes safety standard regarding product, sometimes in the selling helmet without ISI mark, without meeting the BIS, means Bureau of Indian Standard. It means it is covered under the particular type of MRTP Act. Sometimes hoarding and destruction of goods and a refusal to sell the goods, hoarding the goods. Sometimes onion price is high. Why this RIS is high? It means due to the hoarding, means or destruction of the goods or refusal to sell. Means you are to protect it or intended to protect under this act. Another one is somehow you have control this act under the section 36B. How you are to control? Man, you are to be, if you receive the some of the complaint from the any trade association or any consumers association, then it can be also protected, and some rules have to be imposed on the particular person. And if it is made by the central government, state government also, it is applicable to application made to the director general also. And in this way, the particular MRT act to be formulated and to be undertaken in a certain period of time. My dear students, another act is that is called as a Consumer Protection Act 1986. What it says to protect the consumers, to protect the consumers, and there are different type of councils are there, consumer council there. In Baleswar, in district council is there. At the state, that is state consumer council is there. In a central, that is a central consumer council is there. And consumer Grahak Jako Grahak or Consumer Protection Act will be established in the year of 1986. But in today's date, several times it is amended. Even if in the in 2020, it is also amended. It means what amendment says, the e-commerce companies are also under the coverage of the Consumer Protection Act. Suppose you want to purchase the article from the e-commerce website, and when you receive the particular good, you open the particular package, you are astonished. Oh, I have ordered one mobile phone, but I get some of the one piece of paper or a piece of one type of other article. So that's called as you have to complain to the consumer protect under the purview of consumer protection councils, and some act is there. It means the right of a consumer is an important aspect of this act. And so that what's the right of a consumer? Right regarding safety, and the rights regarding inform, right regarding the redressal, right regarding consumer education, and right to choose. And how to complain, and what type of complaint is arises? If the goods and service not exceeding 20 lakh, if your goods is not exceeding 20 lakhs, it may have a complaint to the district forum. If it is 20 lakhs to within 1 crore, you have to complain with the state commission. And if you are 1 crore to above, your complaint should be goes to the national commission. There are three councils are there: national level, state level, district level. District level below 20 lakh, national state level 20 to 1 crore, and national level and 1 crore to above. It means your goods worth value above than that amount. Another one act is there, Essential Commodities Act is there. Essential, if you talk about essential commodities, what it means? It means drugs are the essential commodities, and food grains are the essential commodities. Iron, steel is the essential, jute, textile, fertilizer, and some of the other seeds of the food crops. These are the essential commodities. Edible oil seeds are the essential commodities. Coal, including these are the essential commodities. Means you have to regulate, and the central government has an empower to regulate. It means regulate regarding the storage, regarding the transport, regarding the distribution, regarding the disposal, regarding the acquisition. Means some regulatory provisions are to be enacted to not to wastage, and but has to protect the particular essential commodities. My dear students, and the last topic I want to coverage, that is unit 8, that is called as the labor legislation. The question is, what are labor legislations? Labor means human resource. You may call it as a personnel. You may call it as a the persons who are involved with a particular task, and you give some of the like as a wages or salary or in mint of some bonus. Some of the issues are to be undertaken. And what are the laws are there? Under these particular laws, legislation, Factories Act 1948 is there, Wages and Bonus Act is there, Social Security Legislation Act is there, Industrial IR Relation Act is there. there are different acts are there. If you talk about bonus act, it will be act will be established in 1965. If you talk about payment of wages act, it will be enacted in the 1936. If you talk about minimum wages act, it is enacted in 1948. If you talk about equal remuneration act, it is in 1976. Means wages and bonus act will be formulated on four parts. My dear student, listen. In your book, these are the old acts are there, but several times it will be changed by the government of India also. So we want to coverage according to the particular book. And so, if you talk about Factories Act 1948, this is established in 1st April 1949. And why the particular act is formulated? That is the main objective is the health, safety, welfare of the workers. Health, safety, and what means if you talk about factory, it means the persons who are engaged in the more than 10 worker or 10 employee are to be work in a particular premises, or it may be the where sometimes it were more than the 20 in a manufacturing process. It means that's called as a factory. Means you are more, the manufacturing process means you're finishing, packing, oiling, washing, cleaning, breaking, demolishing. There are certain type of work conditions are to be more focused on, and repeating, repairing, and breaking vessels, like I say, or shipbuilding in the cold storage. These are the some undertaken of activities which are covered under the manufacturing process, and these manufacturing process under the purview of the Factories Act 1948, but it is effect from 1st April 1949. Means you have to protect the workers. How you have to protect? It means if the particular factory, if the workers are more than 500, one officer should be appointed. That officer name is called as a welfare officer, or you may call it as a HR manager, you may call it as a personal manager to take care of the welfare facilities. It means 500, more than 500 workers, those who are working in a particular factory. And certainly some annual wages, annual leaves are to be purview. Means the workers should be work 240 days, minimum 240 days in a calendar year, and for adult that is 20 days, one day for every 20 days of work, one leave is enacted, and for child or means then one day for every 15 days it can be under the purview of the Factory Act. But if you talk about minimum wages act, minimum guarantee time rates is there are several rate system is there. Time rate system is there, overtime rate system is there, guaranteeing time rate system is there, piece rate system is there. But even if different rate system is there, first under this act, wages act, minimum wages act 1948, first they fix the normal days or normal hours, how many hours they work. And even if it can provide a rest day in every period of 7 days, and they can work in a rest day overtime if the time particular time period is completion, the overtime is also associated. And also in this section that they can fix the number of hours inclusive on special intervals also. Under this act is totally focused on the how much minimum wages can be paid to the adults, adolescents, and children also, and apprenticeship also. So in this another act is there, that is Payment of Wages Act. If you talk about Payment of Wages Act, what it coverage? Mean the Payment of Wages Act means wages to the employees, wages to the employees to the factory or railways directly or indirectly through the subcontractors or any type of industrial establishments also, or that is called as a not exceeding 1600. But this is the old time period of the particular payment of time period, that is called as a you have to pay the wages seventh day of the last day of the wages period. Means in a particular month, 7 day you have to pay the wages. And under the section 5 it says if it is less than 1000 persons are to be employed, wages are required to pay before the expiry of the 7 day. Before means 7 day before, if the employee is 1000, if it is more than 1000, it may be extended to be 10th day after the last day of the wages period. Means that is called as a, if the employee number is 1000, seventh day you have to pay the wages. If the employee number is more than 1000, you have to pay the wages on the 10th day. Means another one is the Payment of Bonus Act in the year 1965. What it says? The Payment of Bonus Act means it can why why you giving the bonus to the workers? It means only on the basis of production and to increase the productivity of the particular of the employees or particular in a working condition. Means payment of wage bonus is also a statutory obligation of the employer also, and in all establishment it can be covered under this act. How it is possible? Now, if the bonus is paid in accounting year also, one accounting year it can be paid, and bonus is not paid less than 30 working days also, and it is not exceeding to be 3,500. Means 30 working day of a particular salary or not exceeding 3,500 per month. But now it is reformed. My dear student, this is old one act is there, but it is several times it is amended also. However, when the amount is calculated on payable on salary or wages or above, 2,500 per month shall not be taken into account. Means minimum 3,500. And the and also bonus also paid on 8.3% of the salary which is earned by the employees also, or 1,000 rupees whichever is higher also. It means some of the employees, those who are eligible in every accounting year, you can pay the bonus. Or these are the some issues which are undertaken under the particular Payment of Wages Act, and some of the employees, these are not covered under the bonus system. I mean, the class of employees are not covered under the particular Payment of Bonus Act, like as a LIC of India, seaman, dock workers, and few authority of central and state government, or local authorities employee, non-profit organizations, or Red Cross, universities, educational institutions, or employees of the State Finance Corporation, SFCs, or NABARD, or any type of Unit Trust of India, or IDBI, or CDP. These are not covered under the particular act. Another one is Equal Remuneration Act is also there, 1976. Only equal remuneration. It is a not discrimination among the male and female workers. Means equal remuneration to the male and female workers. Same work, and the work for a similar nature has to no description of the on the ground of sex, and you have to protect their attitude regarding the recruitment, promotion, training. There is no description on the ground of sex. Means equal remuneration or giving equal opportunity, or that is not violation of genders, and even more focused on equal remuneration in 1976. And some social security legislations are there. The question is, what are social security? Social security means it is a social state affairs towards employees. And social security means if someone is unemployment, some old age, sickness, disability. For example, you see the state government or central government, they are more focusing on social security schemes. Pradhan Mantri Grameen Insurance Yojana, or the Madhusudan Pension Yojana. These are called as a social security schemes, and it can be the protecting the labors of the future uncertainty, like as a old age, their sickness, their disablement, and some contingencies. And some of the acts are to be enacted with these social securities. What are these acts? Now, Workmen's Compensation Act 1923, and Employee State Insurance Act 1948, Employees Provident Fund Act, that is 1952, Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. These acts are to be formulated under the purview of the social security legislation. My dear student, if you talk about Workmen's Compensation Act 2023, it means the particular act is divided the workers into three categories. What are these three categories? A category, B category, C category. Or according to the employers or to workmen of any personal injuries or any type of sustained accident is arises or any type of occupational diseases arises, and in this section or any accident is arises, the particular workman compensation act will be imposed. And what are the particular case will be? The case is the first, the liability regarding the personal injury and accident, and the compensation to the meeting of accident depend upon any type of damages. And these are the some policies are there. Some policies, some type of monthly wages system, it can be also protected also. Another one is Employees State Insurance Act 1948 is there. What are the State Insurance Act? It means the either factory or establishment or including supervisory or salary people, they are entitled to the particular state insurance act. And in employees state insurance fund is also there to subject to the provision of the particular all employees of the factories, and some contributions shall be made to the particular by the prescribed by the central government, 4.75% or 1.75% of the workers and wages, those who are paid wages. It means that type of, it means almost 5% contribution toward the state insurance. And why this the particular benefit is obtained? Means sickness benefit, maternity benefit, disability benefit, and medical benefit is also there. And employees pension scheme is also there in the year of 1995. But the pension scheme is also came into existence in 1995 on in place of pension family pension scheme 1971, which is compulsory to all persons who are members of a family pension scheme. But certainly it can also changes day by day, and after 20 years it can within the 20 years it can several times it will also amended. And employees deposit linked insurance scheme is there. If your deposit suppose like as it in cheat fund, sometimes the government is more focusing about the deposit linked insurance schemes, and that scheme is also applicable to all factories, establishment, and to which employee provident in miscellaneous provisions is also there. And Payment of Gratuity Act 1972 is also enacted to every factory, every mines, oil field, plantation, railway companies. The Factory Act, Gratuity Act is also there, and throughout the particular uniformity pattern of payment of gratuity. And industrial relations, under industrial relations, some trade union act is there, industrial disputes act is there, industrial employment act is also there. In trade union act 1926, how what trade unions means how the worker association will be formulated, what are the duties and responsibility, what type of address, what type of age, address, occupation of the bearers, these are the coverage under the particular trade union act. Industrial Disputes Act is also there in 1947. Disputes Act to preventing the good relation between the employer and employee, university settlement schemes, illegal strikes, lockouts, that prevention under the Industrial Disputes Act. And National Tribunal is also there, and State Tribunal is also there. And Industrial Employment Standing Order Act in 1947, 46 is also there to regarding the industrial worker to dispute any uncertainty arises or vagueness arises to discharge or discipline, how the disciplinary action will be undertaken. But and also some workers participation management system also under the coverage under the particular act is there to greater efficiency, job satisfaction, and improve the harmony or better disciplined way, and safety measures, welfare measure, belongingness to the employees, and it's an, a good positive harmony among the industrial relations is arises. My dear student, under this way, the total block 2 of a MCO4 is or under coverage, and there is a lots of items are there in a particular block. First of all, you read the books properly, you read the study material, and simultaneously I am also sending some of the study materials to you also, and then and you go through the PowerPoint presentation of mine, and then you have to better way to understand the particular subject. My dear students, there is a lots of informations are there in a particular block. Thank you. If any question arises, you may ask me through the particular chat box. You may ask me through chat box. I hope it is a time to complete. Abhismita, Rana, good morning, sir. And someone is saying, now I'm stopping.